All right, guys, so here we are on gold. So this is a trade I had placed last night. You can see the market's about to open here in a little bit. We had a couple trades last week, nothing too crazy. Just not really the best price action. No losers though, but just a couple small wins that, kind of were all closed early because we just had this pretty messy price action. But anyway, we're into a new week here. Actually, let's go back. Let's go back to the daily. So what I wanted to show you is obviously we're in a large sideways pattern after a nice move to the upside. We have a very strong support here. So Friday we dumped into this support. Now I was a little bit disappointed because what I was looking for was a push up into this resistance up here, which is where I was looking to go short. Had some sell limits up here, but we just never really reached it. And so by the time we started to push down, it just, to me, was not worth the risk to reward to get into a short position. I would have liked a little bit of a better entry up here. But anyway, we are at a really strong support level down here. So my thought process going into this with a new week ahead was a strong, um, a strong rejection of the support and push up, which we have started to slightly get. But you can see up here, this was our key 4 hour level that I was expecting price to push up into. I maybe could have had a little bit more, a little bit better planning, and maybe tried to get in once we broke the structure down here. But it's okay. It's all good. So anyway, we come back down and you can see this strong support level down here, all the instances of respecting this level. So coming down into it, really simple buy position for me. And all we have is just our stops, obviously below this structure and then just below this. So we have about a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio here. And all I'm looking for now is a push up here somewhere within this level. Again, it's not a specific, I'm not specifically looking for this region to be met. It's just I want about a 3-to-1, and I'm not trying to be overly optimistic, expecting us to get exactly up here or even up here, just at least halfway back into this level. And I think we can get that. So right now we had a pretty strong candle. Let's go back to the hourly. Yeah, we had a pretty strong candle pushing us up on the 4 hour. I think with the market open, we can expect a bit of a pullback. Maybe we'll come back down into this level. I think as long as we stay obviously above where our stop loss is, which is below this main support, I think we'll be fine. So if we come back down sideways back into this level, I may look at getting into a second entry. Um, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. Um, Fairly simple. I hope that kind of makes sense as to why I'm getting into that. Again, it's a new week, and we are starting off this week in this strong support level. So I think at the very least, right, we're going to get a nice rejection of the support and push up. So anyway, as we move up, we have some minor resistance here to look out for. Um, so again, right, last week we had a lot of trades in here that this week, pretty much last week and the week before, really pretty much started and ended all in the same place. And so we had a handful of small buy and small sell positions that were all closed early. Thankfully, no losses though, just because I am usually pretty proactive with moving my stop loss, but it just wasn't really anything too special to document or talk about. So hopefully we have a little bit of a more eventful week this week. But again, something with this too is after just having a large push to the downside, we can maybe expect a little bit more sideways price action. So like I said, if we come back down here, I may get into another long position, but we can't be impatient and expect a move like this to repeat after one just happened, right? Um, so again, I know we're at a strong support level, but we just have to be patient. So anyway, that is our trade at the moment. We are going to see how this plays out. All right, guys. So we've had a lot of patience here, right? This trade here has gone on for quite some time, but I do like the position where we are in now. So the market has opened about an hour and a half ago, um, and so this was a really strong level I was keeping an eye on, because if we would have, after breaking below, retested and moved lower, um, I would have been pretty nervous, right? And that would have been actually a place to go short. However, we did break above, and I know we came a little bit lower, but the point being is this level was not respected as resistance, right? Um, we came down, tested as support, made a local high. Yeah, we broke through, but when we came back up, we didn't retest as resistance and move lower. We broke the high again and tested this local resistance, which was above uh, our main support level here, right? So after having this large high volume move to the upside, which this was the market open, we have two pullback candles pulling back into this level as support. And so this would be a level where it would be very smart to, um, I mean, as a possibility, to get into another long position here. We could have our stops below this low here and then just target the same level up here, right? And we get a 3-to-1 right there. So that's something I'm looking at right now. Um, yeah, and so yeah, that's just a quick little update. We have had to be pretty patient with this long position. We've just been in pretty frustrating price action overall on gold recently. But again, like I like to talk about, it's really identifying where you are, right? Obviously, we want to be in big positions when we have moves like this, right? But sometimes we have price action like this that is more or less just sideways. And so, um, what do we have to do? We have to realize that that's what we're in. We are in that right now. And I know maybe we have to come down and retest this support again, but eventually our idea is that we will be moving much higher, right? Um, and so really it's just about paying attention, right? When the market is boring, that's when you need to pay attention because then you get the best opportunities um, to get in nice positions, right? So anyway, that's just kind of a little update, and yeah, we're just gonna go from there. All right, guys. So quick little update on our positions here. So we have moved up pretty nicely last night. Um, But one thing I want to point out, we still haven't reached this zone up here that we're looking for here on the higher time frame. But if you take a look, let's go down to 15, or actually a 30-minute chart. Um, I'm not a huge fan of this price action here. This uh, not really a pullback. This is more of a dump. And so, with that being said, I'm going to move my stop losses for both of my positions underneath this wick right here, just right here, because that way, if this retests this high and reverses and comes back down, we will still get out with profit on both of our positions. So that's just kind of what I'm doing at the moment, um, because I'm not a huge fan of these two candles right here. It's not a, I mean, it is a pretty big correction, but it's not necessarily a healthy pullback I'd be looking for. So we are pushing them nicely now, which is great. So anyway, I'm just kind of protecting myself in case that does happen. So we have our stop loss right underneath here for both of these positions now. So, but anyway, it's been a really good trade so far. It's taken a very long time, extremely boring. It's been in this for a very long time. Let's should move that a little bit. Yeah. Um, it's been a really frustrating position. Just have to exercise patience, right? But the re-entry was a very great trade, very great entry. We had no drawdown, which was awesome. But um, anyway, yeah. So we're just gonna see. Hopefully, we can just break this high pretty nicely and work our way up to our zone. But like I said, I'm just kind of protecting myself in case that does not happen. So anyway, yeah, that's it for that. The market will open in just under an hour now, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more volume by then. All right, guys, so you can see we have reached our target, which is awesome. This was a very long trade, took a long time. But what I have done actually, so obviously we moved our stops up, um, a little bit before the market opened just to make sure, we were all good. And then what I have done now is this trade is completely closed. And then my first entry, which was a much better entry, obviously, I have closed about 90% of it and then left a tiny bit open with stops still in profit. So, um, you know, even if, this comes crashing down, we're still in a very good profit. But we also have the potential to come up towards this zone, which we were still initially looking at quite a while back. And so, yeah, just a pretty good trade overall. Again, about 90% of everything is closed, and we have a little bit running with stops and profit. And so, again, I hope that makes sense. It's just really looking for key levels like this, right? And so, um, again, here on the daily, today's Thursday, so tomorrow, we're going to have the end of the weekly candle, and so, maybe we can get a little bit higher. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what news is tomorrow. But yeah, so just a really simple setup, and I hope that was helpful. All right, guys, so now that that trade is over, it is now Sunday morning. Later today, we're going to have our new weekly candle. We're going to have the market opening again. So we're just going to do a little overview of what's going on here in gold. So obviously, we got out of the majority of our position here, and we left a little bit of a runner, about less than 10% of the total trade size, but we have since closed that. Would have been a good place to just exit everything, but sometimes if you lock in a decent profit and you can move your stops, you can always just let a little bit run. There's really no downside to that. But obviously we did come a little bit above this resistance here, but we have since moved down, right? And we have started to test this local level here. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. So going forward, what I'm really looking at, let's look at the daily really quickly. Yeah, so obviously this daily candle, massive rejection to the downside from the previous. Um, so I really am not expecting us to test this support again, the 2290-ish region. I think if we are going to retest this level and see this level again, I think we are going to break through. Um, so what I'm really looking for is my key level currently for this zone where we are is this zone up here. So the 2360 region. What I would love to see in line with our bias, because obviously we're still in an uptrend. What I would love to see is this level, price coming up above this level and holding it as support, right? Because this level is a little bit more than halfway up from the, top to bottom of our range here. And so if we can hold that as support, we've been stair stepping our way to the upside. If we can hold this level as support, that'll be really good. And I'll be looking for long positions targeting the highs up here, right? So if we can hold this as support, I would end up looking for long positions up to here and then eventually breaking the highs. We'd be looking for a retest of this 4-hour level at some point to go long again. So that's what I'm looking at for gold right now. If we later today, we're not going to have a whole bunch of volume. We had a lot of news last week, so the opening weekly candles probably not going to be too hectic today. So we may have just a little bit of sideways movement if we come up to this level, and we respect this as resistance, and we begin to, kind of go sideways, and we can't seem to break this level. That's going to be pretty bearish because, again, this daily candle was pretty telling the way that it closed, right? I know we're still within this big mess. We're still within this consolidation. Like I always say, you want, when we're in periods like this that are messy and confusing, and you honestly you can't know for sure what's going to happen regardless, but especially when you're in this kind of price action, it's really the first thing you have to do is identify it, like I say, and at that point you have to prepare for once we leave this, right? Once we either break this or break this up here. So, um, right, we want to be catching these nice moves, but um, we have to just be forward thinking. So this, like I said, even though we're within this big, you know, consolidation, we have had these massive bearish candles that were followed by big bullish candles. I still, right, we failed to test, even meet this high, this local high, right, which failed to meet the previous. And so we have two lower highs, and this daily candle did engulf the previous daily candle. And so we just really have to see how the new candle opens, right? But two possible scenarios, right? Obviously, what I'm looking at is just this zone. So if we can break above and hold it as support, I'm going to be looking at some long positions, right? And if not, if we you know, retrace a little bit from this downward move, and this level is looking like a strong resistance, we can look for some shorts down to this low, and then at that point, we're going to be in a downward channel type of situation. But anyway, it's just really simple. Like I said, we had some trades back here, some really small minor ones, not really worth noting. I mean, no losses, a couple break evens. But again, what was frustrating was this level. I was really, really looking for this 4 hour to be met, and it just didn't work out. Obviously, if I was really paying attention, could have maybe tried to get in a little bit later, but it's just not worth the risk at that point. Sometimes, like I said, you can't predict everything precisely. You just have to go with what the market gives you. And I was expecting this level to go short, but it just was not met, right? And then again, up here, we had a short position here, but we got out a little bit early, could have capitalized a little bit more. But again, overall, it's fine, right? Eventually, we're going to get a large swing, and we're going to, we're going to try to catch it, right? So anyway, that's what we're looking at for gold. You can look at pound yen here too. This is just obviously very beautiful uptrend, but this is just textbook, very simple structure here, right? The end of the day on Friday, the end of the weekly um, trading session on Friday, we moved down to retest. Let's go back to the 4 hour. We moved down to retest this level very nicely. And again, right, we have such a clear, massive uptrend. I mean, um, very big uptrend. The yen is having a lot of issues, and so if you look at USD yen, it's the same sort of scenario as this. Um, but well, what do we have? We have all of these key zones. Obviously, here we broke down very sharply below, but once we came back up to hold this level as support, it was very strong. I mean, up here, right, we have a new high, and we dump back down into the support and respect it very well. So this is very strong. Like our first, I didn't take any trades here, but our first indication of this uptrend is really how well we respected this zone in here on the 4 hour, right? And again, I know we violated it like twice here, but overall, we look at the amount of instances of respecting this level as support, and that's a key indication of our strong uptrend, right? Because that combined with this price action, right? That's very, very bullish, right? So anyway, come back up, slowly work our way up. We're at this high. Obviously now, when you're right here, um, and you see how we very casually just, you know, candle after candle, not very big, high volume candles, worked our way up to this resistance. You're not looking for a breakout here because, again, here we on the way up, we never had any sizable pullbacks. And so what do we get? We get our pullback into the previous high before it was broken here. So we get our pullback into this zone. This is obviously a really key support level here on the 4 hour. And then what do we get? We just get our new breakout. So all we're really looking for in pound yen um, is for this same price action to continue. What we're just really looking for is some sort of pullback now in that will be in favor of the trend. So we come back into this level as support and maybe hold it fairly well. That will be a possible long entry position. If we break back down below, we may get into a situation like we were with in gold, or we are in gold right now, where we're kind of just bouncing around a bit, and we have to just wait for direction. But bottom line is, we're not going to be looking for short positions on pound yen anytime soon. Obviously, we're going to expect pullbacks, but you know, nothing too crazy, right? So anyway, that's just a quick little rundown of the week. We could look at. All right, so that cut off there, but anyway, what we were going to look at is US 30 a little bit. Now, I just haven't been that big of a fan of the price action on US 30 as of recent. We do, if we go to a daily, we do have some really strong support in here, but again, it's just messy. It's similar to how we are with gold right now, except with gold, we have more opportunity to take trades within this zone. With US 30, what I really want to see is, let me mark, um, right, we have our main support level here and then our local resistance up here. I want to see one of these levels met before I would decide to do anything. I just don't really like where we are. I could, you know, right where we are now. It's sort of just um, not a very, we need something decisive, a decisive move, either pulling back into the support and retesting it, or going up into this resistance, one or the other. But again, like I've said, I haven't been I've been trying to not take as many trades recently, um, not because I don't want to, but just with the intention of filtering out um, not so great positions, right? I want to focus on very high probability trades and really good quality positions with a good risk to reward and a great price action and great setup, right? Um, and US 30 just hasn't really had that as much recently. Earlier months ago, we had a great run of some nice day trades, but I just haven't really been seeing the same consistency in the price action. So, part of trading is not trading, right? Part of trading is filtering out reckless, irresponsible trades that, um, you know, they can slowly eat away at your profit, right? It's just more, it's just as important. The trades that you don't take are just as important as the trades that you do take. So that's why, right? Like if we break above this resistance, and we're holding this as support, obviously I'm going to be looking for trades. But um, you want to make sure you're not forcing yourself to trade because your mind is just so conditioned to get into a trade when it's not the best opportunity, right? It's better to sit for a couple days with no position than take two or three trades with not a very good possibility of them being winners. That's just kind of how I've started to change my philosophy a little bit. Um, that's why I've gotten into a little bit more longer term positions recently. But anyway, you just obviously don't want to repeat myself, but you need to um, be focusing on the high probability trades with really good quality positions, right? So anyway, that's just a little update on the week. We had rate news recently, we had NFP recently, and um, yeah, I mean we're getting towards the end of the month here, so um, hopefully things really start picking up here. But yeah, we've had some quality trades. I just you know want gold to exit this exit this pattern it's in right now. But anyway, so hopefully we're going to be having some more videos soon, discussing different things like this. But anyway, thank you for watching.